Welcome back to Deep House with Larry White at the historic home of Sam and Alfreda Maloof in Alta Loma, California. Lauren Verdugo, my assistant, is here with me today as we continue to explore those wonderful artifacts found in the Maloof collection. In today's 9th episode, we're going to check out one of Sam's most sculptural designs, an exquisite walnut cradle.
All right, Larry, so for this episode, we're going to be talking about this fabulous rocking cradle, but until then, we just migrated over here wearing the same clothes, but talking about something really cool, right? In the same room, master bedroom.
Well, this is actually Sam's most sculptural design. It's his most expensive rocker. And basically, during the time I worked with him, I made 9 of these for him. And this one came back to our collection because the client that we made them for, I made 2 of them for that client. He had twin sons, and he wanted each one of them to have one. And ultimately, he donated one back to our collection, so we'd have one. So it's a great example of Sam's most sculptural endeavor, the cradle.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I heard that it takes 6 weeks to make each, like a singular rocking cradle, and then you made 9 of them. So were those back to back? Because I have
that was spread over 22 years.
Okay.
For those of you who don't remember, I came back again to Sam in '92, and I spent another 22 years with him.
Right.
And then with the foundation.
Yeah, after teaching.
The whole thing works out to be about 35 years or so.
Wow.
But during that course, I actually made 9 of these for Sam. And you're right, 6 weeks, straight into it, every day. There's a number of aspects of it that are kind of interesting. The ribs are not steam bent. These are laminated ribs that are bent and compressed in a 2-part mold. So we have 5 layers of 16th inch walnut strips that bend very easily. Mm-hmm. When you put glue on them, they're even more malleable.
Right.
They're compressed into a 2-part mold that has a cardboard lining in it. So when you press it in, any irregularities are taken care of by the cardboard, taking up the slack.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
So anyway, rather than just make a set of ribs for a cradle, one of the guys made up about 50 ribs at a time. Gosh. And that way we can go through and pick out the grain on each rib to fit. Okay. So what I do is, technically what we wanted was the center ribs to be more vertical, and then as they move towards the side, the grain would splay to the side. So what I would do is go through all the ribs and then put them in sets. And,
so you would have
tape
matching...
them together so they're all matched with the color and grain.
That's
and everything.
Really interesting.
Yeah. So then when we make a trestle, once I get this done and start the basket, well, actually I started the basket first. And once I got the end pieces done and shaped so I could see the grain color and pattern, then I would go to the sets of ribs and pick out the one that matched the grain of the cradle. And so what I would do is make the end pieces first and then glue the spline on the bottom, the keel we call it, and then the side rails go in, and then these ribs are fit, each one individually to each space, custom fit. So the ribs are just a little larger than the dado, and then they're hand fit to that particular spot. So each rib gets 3 fittings before it can be glued up.
So we got to make sure those babies are secure.
Yeah, they're secure.
So also, when you guys got an order for this, Sam would stop all the chair orders to crank these out because babies come faster than people needing to sit.
It was a priority.
Yeah.
If I was working on a rocker when an order for a cradle came in, then I would stop that piece and immediately start working on the cradle.
Yeah.
And as we know, that's an imperative to get it out on time. Which brings up another interesting point. Of all the furniture Sam made, these had the least duration of function of anything he made in terms of the baby.
Right.
But the cool thing about it is when he would make a cradle for a family, then that cradle would travel through the family and over generations.
That's great.
From one child to the next when they were ready. And so they have great history, within the family context.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a really exacting process to go through the shaping and keeping all the lines parallel and shaping the arcs that go in here, which are dissimilar dimensions, and making it all read right all together.
Yeah.
So that's why it takes so much time.
Yeah.
The other thing is, all of the ribs are kind of pre-sanded before they're glued up, but once they're glued up, it's all hand sanded, the basket on the inside. You can't use a machine in there.
Right, it'll totally tear it
Yeah.
up.
So anyway, that's why it takes so long.
All the details and the little bits of hard lines that are seen
Yeah.
everywhere, I think it's great just because, you know, you see that in his furniture, but it's cool to see it in something else.
Right, and it just has so much sculptural quality about it.
Right.
You know? And the way we would do the system up here is we'd drill a hole, a plug hole here, and then drill through and put a threaded insert in one half. Then there'd be a 1/4-inch machine bolt that would go through and screw into that with a spacer, and then that gets plugged over, and that's what gives it the action. And what I would do on the area where the machine screw goes through, I'd put a bronze sleeve in there.
Oh, okay.
So that it doesn't wear the grain down, it always maintains integrity of the shape on top.
Right, that's smart.
Yeah. So there's just a lot of little things that go in.
Well,
go into
one
it.
thing that I really love that you probably wouldn't see unless you like looked underneath it is this beautiful spine that it has going
Travels
all the way around.
underneath and up the other side.
Right.
I don't know if you can see it clearly, but it's also
All right
arced
here.
underneath. It's not
Going
just straight
through.
across.
Reminds me of a boat.
Yeah. Well, it definitely has that feel about it, you know. But beautiful piece.
Oh, great. So
Yeah.
do you want to make another one?
Yeah, I'll make another one.